doesn't usually happen to me. Hi, welcome back to the I'm Poop podcast. This is little John's favorite podcast because every time he listens to it, he goes, yeah, okay.
My mom being like, is that true?
She texted us after I said that about Dan Aykroyd. She's like, do you actually know Dan Aykroyd? I'm like, no.
Like, no, Mom. What?
No.
Oh, Mom, you're so sweet. And
Oh.
wow.
You're like, we recorded her podcast yesterday, and
we were the guests.
We were guests on her podcast, and we were just dogging on her degree because we were just like making notes about her degree, and you know it took her.
She's talking all professional like too.
Yeah, but the funniest part is we were talking about her degree. It's 2 feet from us on the floor, leaning against the wall. Like she does not hang it up. It's just leaning against the wall.
Well, to be fair, she's moving offices.
Yeah.
So she's moving stuff back and forth.
It's just funny. A very coveted degree, and it's laying on the floor.
And it's all laying on the floor. Yeah. No, that was funny. We'll get into us being visitors on her podcast.
Yeah.
But first, Pokemon. It's a caterpillar.
Caterpie.
Yeah. Easy.
Sack.
So anyways, back like we were saying.
Anyway. As I was saying.
Yeah, no, because it's funny because I talked to my friends about our podcast, and I had mentioned how I'm a guest on my mom's, and my friend's like, dude, you're so fucking mean to your mom. And I'm like, you gotta understand, it's both ways. Me and her,
it's a real give and take,
and it's a love relationship. We're rude to each other, but in a loveful way. And why I'm bringing this up is because the time when I was like, God, she just needs more guests. I can't be on that podcast all the time.
Yeah,
and it's because like for me, it's her podcast, so I want someone to be there that is like, you know, a good
qualified as well.
Yeah, qualified. Like I don't know what the I'm talking about, and I could be. There's times where I say something and she's like, "Well, no," and I'm like,
"That's the degree talking. That's what we're saying. That's the degree."
Like, this is why you need people who know what they're talking about. Anyways, but yeah, we were on her podcast, and I feel like it went pretty well. One of the topics was deep.
We talked about grief and things like that. You should go listen to it. It's called My Therapy Hat Podcast. We produce and edit it, and you should
check it out.
If you want to hear somebody educated speak for a while, that would be the place to go.
We're over here looking.
It's not here.
We're looking it up on the fly.
Here.
She knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I haven't been in a classroom in, let's just say, a long time.
Neither have I, and I'm taking classes.
Yeah, I haven't studied a goddamn thing.
I will say, I feel smarter.
Yeah?
Yep.
After going to school?
Since going to school, started going back to school, I feel smarter.
That's good. I'm because you're using your brain again.
Yeah.
In like ways that you haven't in a while.
There's some times that I'm sitting there and I don't feel smart, but then I do something and I'm like, hey, wait a minute.
I do have a brain.
Something's there.
I promise. Okay, so for this week, I kind of, similar to what we did last time, where you more or less...
It's more an informative...
Yeah, and I'm like, I could have you guess where these are coming from, but...
That was my same thought process about my 10, because I was like, I can have you guess a movie.
But having me guess movies is awful.
And there's cajillion movies out there.
I would be awful at that. So basically, I'll say at the end what sparked me looking all of these up and pulling up this list. But basically, in the okay states of America, I was going to say great states, but we're... Anyway, every state has a different set of laws, and some of those laws are quite strange. So I was going to give you quite a few, just to tell you some weird ones that I found, and you know.
Do you have like an ABC?
No, okay. Because I didn't intend it for you to be able to guess which state it came from. So I'm just going to give it to you, and then you have a 1 in 50 chance, which I think is like 2% or like 20. I can't remember. It's like a very low percent.
I'll use my brain.
Okay. I would be shocked if I tell you and you get it right away.
Colorado.
All right, okay. In this state, it's illegal to send a surprise pizza.
What the heck?
Mm-hmm.
A surprise pizza.
A surprise pizza.
Alabama.
Louisiana.
Oh, I was
too
close.
Bad. You wasn't too bad.
I was close. Why?
According to Louisiana Revised Statutes, Section 1468-6, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Dude, okay,
Thank you, Professor.
When I quote these or like I say pretty much anything about them, I'm pulling it straight from like the government website of this state. Like this is exactly what is written on.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
Forgot Louisiana was a state.
Louisiana. You. So basically, it is the unauthorized ordering of goods or services, and it's actually considered harassment in Louisiana, resulting in fines and possible jail time. So, according to the statute itself, it says it is unlawful for any person to intentionally place an order for any goods or services to be supplied or delivered to another person when all of the following circumstances apply. The person receiving the goods or services have not previously authorized such an order, does not reside with the person who placed the order, and the goods or services are not being given as a gift. So you have to live with them, and they have to know that it's coming.
Okay, I kind of understand that.
Because totally made sense reading it.
You know, yeah. You saying it first, I was like, that sucks.
Stalkers do it all the time.
But yeah, no. People showing up with pizza, and they're like, all right, that's going to be $3.50. And they're like,
then you have to
$3.50 for pizza?
And you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
There's another thing in here that says, like...
Jobos.
The person receiving the goods or services is required to pay for such goods or services either in advance or upon delivery. So basically, it's considered harassment if
it
the
shows
person
up
receiving
and it's not
it,
paid for.
Yeah, if the person receiving it has to pay for it, it's considered harassment.
Hey, let's make that a law everywhere.
Yeah, like I said, like
that
stalkers.
Sounds like a good law.
Stalkers do it all the time. Like people who just like pull pranks or whatever do it all the time. That's why it's considered harassment. The person placing the order for goods or services intends to harass or annoy the person receiving such goods or services. So, yeah, basically a pizza or, food in general where the person have to pay for it.
Flowers, possibly.
Again, yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
If the person who ordered it doesn't live with you, it's harassment.
Carvana.
A car?
Can you imagine that?
Someone delivered a car to my house. If
someone's like, someone's driving off a car.
You probably have to sign.
They're like,
for it.
You have to sign for it over here. They're like, this isn't. I didn't order this. They're like, it's got your name all over it, buddy.
This is your house. Yeah, well, it's your car now. I hope you like a. Anyway,
it's a beat up, fucking 3,000.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it's a Beamer, and I was like, damn.
300,000 miles on it or something.
Yeah. Oh, it's coming. Hold on. Okay, in this state, it's illegal to tell fortunes without certification.
Say that again?
In this state, it's illegal to tell fortunes, i.e. be a fortune teller, without certification.
What the hell?
Mm-hmm. This one was crazy.
Is it Nevada?
No, Massachusetts. So...
What the...
Oh,
I mean, that... Wasn't Massachusetts one of the places for, like, witch hunting back in the day?
Yes, to answer your question. It's where Salem is.
Okay, so I mean, that kind of makes sense.
Yes, and I'll actually touch on that. So it's Title 20, Chapter 140, Section 185I. Thank you for asking. A fortune teller must live in Massachusetts for at least 1 year in order to apply for a license. This is straight from the city of Cambridge, Massachusetts. Fortune teller licenses are issued to an individual for a particular location and only that individual to operate under the license for that particular location. So basically, if you are a fortune teller, if you're a franchise fortune teller, you have to have a license for each location.
That's insane.
And to summarize, basically the reason that they do that is because...
Witches.
Well, in Salem, because Salem's such
Black magic.
Let me speak, please. In Salem, because it's such
magical beans.
Shut the up. Because Salem is a tourist spot, it gets fucking crowded, and they don't want all of these random people telling fortunes. So you can't tell fortunes as like, a traveling fortune teller to Massachusetts because you have to have a license and live there for at least a year prior.
That's insane.
So it basically limits all of the fortune tellers in Massachusetts to locals.
Yeah.
Specifically for that reason, for overcrowding.
That's interesting. I mean,
yeah,
I don't really know what to say on that other than that's
especially Halloween. Halloween is the big one. But its history actually dates back like hundreds of years from like
To the witches?
actually Romani's and traveling carnivals and things like that. So that's again
Oh, okay.
overcrowding and whatever. I actually looked it up where I looked up if before I found out that you had to live in Massachusetts for a year, I'm like, can I get a license? And you can just, obviously, if you live in Massachusetts, dude, it's like harder than getting a driver's license. I'm not even kidding. To get a fortune teller's license. I looked it up, and you have to do like 8,000 different things. You have to have like
You have to have
the location.
supervision
You have to
hours.
prove that you own the location. You have to do all of these things. It's fucking difficult
That's
to get.
crazy.
There was like so many rules. I was like, damn. Anyway,
That's crazy.
on the flip side, there's one of two answers you can give. In both of these states, in me looking it up, I found one and I found additionally another. In both of these states, it's illegal to pay or be a psychic or a fortune teller.
It's illegal to be these people?
It's illegal to be one and participate in it.
I'm going to say
one of two states.
One is like Montana.
Okay. No, but
Okay.
you have another try if you want to give
And
another
the
one.
second one is like Hawaii.
It's Pennsylvania and Maryland. So you were not even remotely
Damn.
close. Hawaii?
I don't know.
Hawaii, shockingly, doesn't have a lot of strange laws.
I was just throwing darts at the board.
Hawaii, strangely enough, doesn't have a lot of weird laws. A lot of them involve the environment and not like tainting it and like messing it up, because Hawaii has a very specific environment.
Because Hawaii is Hawaii.
Yeah, and they treasure the environment.
Yeah.
This one was probably one of my favorites to read because in the statute itself, which is Title 18, Chapter 71, Section 4.
Thank you.
It the way that it's worded, it sounds like a madman going on a rant. So I will read this all word for word.
When was this law like?
I don't know. I don't have a date.
Because I was going to say, they might have been a little crazy.
Well, I'll read it and let's see.
Okay.
So, offense defined. A person is guilty of a misdemeanor of the third degree if he pretends to gain or lucre, which is basically lucre is money you earn in like a kind of like an underhanded way, like through nefarious means.
Oh, like under the table type of thing?
Sort of. It's kind of like you scam people to get your money. That's what lucre is.
Oh, gotcha.
And that's what I mean. Underhanded ways to get your money. Kind of like an MLM kind of thing. Like you scam
you take
people.
the money under the table and you slap them across the table.
You scam people is essentially how you gain lucre. It's money attained.
You
in
pickpocket the
ways.
person that you're sitting next, and then after you take their money, you slap them.
Sure. I don't know what the you pulled that from. But
I
sure.
don't know.
For gain or lucre, to tell fortunes or predict future events by cards, tokens, the inspection of the head or hands of any person, or by the age of anyone, or this is all one sentence, by the way, or by consulting the movements of the heavenly bodies, or in any other manner, or for gain or lucre, pretends to effect any purposes by spells, charms, necromancy, or incantation, or advises the taking or administering of what are commonly called love powders or potion, or prepares the same to be taken or administered, or publishes by card, circular sign, newspaper, or other means that he can predict future events. Again, this is all one
Holy
sentence.
crap.
These are all commas. Or for gain or lucre, pretends to enable anyone to get or to recover stolen property, or to tell where lost property is, or to stop bad luck, or to give good luck, or to put bad luck on a person or animal, or to stop or injure the business or health of a person, or shorten his life, or to give success in business, enterprise, speculation, and games of chance, or to win the affection of a person, or make one person marry another, or to induce a person
Holy
to make
crap.
or alter a will, or to tell where money or other property is hidden, or to tell where to dig for treasure, or to make a person dispose of property in favor of another.
Someone
Period.
got by one of these people.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
It sounds like the scrawls of a madman.
It reminds me.
Not one period. There's like 18 commas.
It reminds me. There was a movie. I would say probably about 4 or 5 years ago, from the director who made the first Hellboy.
Okay.
He made a movie. It's called Nightmare Alley, I think.
Okay.
And it's about a guy who joins a circus and becomes a psychic, and he scams people
For
for
lucre.
And that's what the whole movie's about. And it's eventually it gets to a point to where he just is way over his head to where something happens. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's like a 3-hour long movie and it's crazy. It's not crazy. It's just like keeps getting bigger. The lie keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Right.
And that's what it reminds me of. It just sounds like that movie is this dude's life. Is this dude just
whoever
over.
wrote this statute was just like, ugh. In both,
I hate
think
this motherfucker.
I think the one that I pulled it from is Pennsylvania. This specific statute is from Pennsylvania, but there's a similar law in Maryland.
What was the? Oh, Maryland. Maryland was just like copy paste.
Well, I don't know if it's the same. I don't think it's the same thing. I pulled it from one state and realized it was in both. That like the same like principles apply,
Like
but I don't
wording.
think it's written the exact same way
That'd
as
be interesting.
these scrawlings that
Yeah.
I've just read to you. This one's a little crazy. In this state, you're breaking the law if you participate in dwarf tossing.
What the hell? Dwarf tossing? I can't toss my dwarf friends.
Take a fucking guess which state this is.
Florida.
Yeah, it is Florida, actually.
Holy crap.
This is Title 34, Chapter 561, Section 665. Division
Thank
to
you.
restrict. You're welcome. Just division to restrict licenses for permitting certain activities. Basically, I have a date for this, by the way, October 1st, 1989. So effective no
Whoa.
later than October 1st, 1989. I didn't know it was such a problem.
Someone threw one of their friends, and
Yeah.
someone didn't have it.
So to summarize this first bit, it's basically if you own
God,
a bar.
Token would have hated that.
Who?
Lord of the Rings.
Tolkien?
Tolkien.
You said token.
Token.
Tolkien. I was
Tolkien.
like the black kid from South Park.
Token would have hated that. No.
What the?
Tolkien would have hated that.
Okay. So yeah, it's
That's gotta be a
specifically
sport in Lord of the Rings.
specifically in a bar.
Oh.
Specifically in a bar.
Anywhere else is fine?
I don't know. It just specifically says to prohibit every person maintaining, owning,
Let's
or
go test it.
operating a commercial establishment located which alcoholic beverages are offered for sale on the premises.
So,
it's-
pizza
or-
parlors.
I don't know. If
Bars.
you sell alcohol, you cannot participate in dwarf tossing.
Okay.
Um,
McDonald's
Let me
is
see what
still
the
on the
wording is.
table.
From undertaking or permitting any contest or promotion or other form of recreational activity involving exploitation, endangering the health, safety,
Mm-hmm.
and welfare of any person with dwarfism. This division may suspend and revoke the license of and may impose a civil penalty not to exceed $1,000 against any person in violation.
I feel like it should be more. I feel like if you're tossing people around,
I'm
it should be
assuming
more.
in this context it's non-consensual in which you toss somebody.
That's what I'm saying. It should be more. Should
Yeah.
be way more than 1,000.
Yeah, but that's still fucking crazy that they had to specifically write in like, hey,
So like, hey, don't do that.
don't do that.
That's funny. That's
Yeah.
so funny.
That's crazy. All right. In this state, national anthem remixes are illegal.
National anthem
Remixes. Yep.
God, there could be so many states. Who got fucking pissed off?
What true red-blooded American said, I've had enough?
I pledge allegiance.
Some guy scratching on
Wicka,
a...
wicka, wicka,
Yeah.
wicka. Turn that shit off.
Pretty much. That's probably what happened. Something along those lines.
It's got to be on the East Coast somewhere. I'm gonna say. Oh my God, dude.
Again, you have...
I'm gonna say Texas.
It's Massachusetts again.
Damn.
Title 1, Chapter 264, Section 9. Of course, you're welcome. Whoever plays, sings, or renders the Star-Spangled the Star-Spangled Banger
Star Spangled Banger. That's my remix.
in any,
Beer, 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 beer.
in any public place, theater, motion picture hall, restaurant, or cafe,
Oh, say can you
Other
see,
than as a
see.
whole and separate composition or number without embellishment or addition in any way. Here comes the best part.
Oh,
Whoever plays, sings, or renders the Star-Spangled Banner or every part thereof as dance music, as an exit march, or any part of the medley of any kind shall be punished by a fine of not more than $100.
not more than a. Hey, I'm okay for
$100
fine.
bucks? That's it?
Dude.
That's all the national anthem is worth to you? $100?
I'm walking out to that shit in Massachusetts. I'm paying the $100 fine.
Like, that's so funny. And that's only if you get
I'm
caught
breaking
doing
that
it.
law.
That's so funny. Like, 100, but that's like the cheapest fine I've ever heard
Yeah,
in my
that's
life.
crazy. That's so cheap.
It is Massachusetts, though. It's probably cheap to live there.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Massachusetts is beautiful.
Yeah, but I don't
And
wanna
it's
live
like
there.
the first state.
You took American history. You just took American history. You know that's probably not true. I think it was Virginia. West Virginia.
All right. It's the second state.
One of the Virginias was the first, I think. Or Pennsylvania. Not Massachusetts. It was not Massachusetts, I'll tell you that.
It was probably like top 5.
All right. In this state, it's illegal to throw your caca out the window.
Whoa! That's a Florida, but no. It's not a Florida.
No, are you kidding me? It's not in Florida. People do that all the time.
They do it all the time.
If it was illegal.
God, they need to make so much stuff in Florida illegal.
Just because of the nature of its residents.
Florida would make so much money.
Oh, with fines and stuff?
Yes, so much money.
It's illegal to throw your caca out the window.
Caca out the window. It's gotta be like a state like Massachusetts. I'm gonna say like fudge knuckle. I'm going to say, like, Michigan.
It's Oregon.
Oh, what?
It's Oregon. Oregon revised statutes.
Come on,
Vehicle
dude.
Code, Section 811. A person commits the offense of improperly disposing of human waste if the person is operating or riding in a motor vehicle and the person throws, puts, or otherwise leaves a container of urine or other human waste on or beside a highway. It's a Class A misdemeanor.
Wow.
So, I mean... obviously throwing it out the window is one thing, but you can't like pee in a cup and leave it on the side of the road.
And then leave it.
It's a misdemeanor if you do.
Get rid of it. Just pee on the ground.
No one would know. No one would know.
You're helping the environment.
All right, moving on. In this state, it's illegal to hurl missiles at a bus.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Hold up. Missiles?
And it is, in fact, a third-degree felony.
Missiles.
It is explicitly illegal in this state to hurl missiles at a bus or bus station.
I hope that'd be illegal everywhere.
Well, it's explicit in this one, in this state.
I'm
sure they have similar rules.
We'll
it's just specifically at a bus.
We'll say New York.
It's Utah. The Mormons ain't fucking around about their missiles and their buses.
Dude, of course it's the Mormons.
Utah Code Section 76. Any person who discharges a firearm or hurls a missile at or into any bus or terminal shall be guilty of a third-degree felony.
God shall not strike me with the missile at a bus.
However, the prohibition of this section does not apply to elected or appointed peace officers or commercial security personnel
who
discharge firearms or hurl missiles in the course and scope of their employment, i.e. cops can hurl missiles legally at bus terminals.
That's crazy. Utah, Salt Lake City.
I mean, that's so crazy. Why do cops get a pass to hurl missiles?
Because they're the only ones in that state that has them.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So those were all of the fun ones that I found. But what sparked this was, and I told you about it.
Did you?
No, I'm done with the states. I'm telling you.
Oh,
you weren't listening to what I was saying, were you?
Listen, hey, I just got off work. I know this is like the third episode we've said this that we're tired.
I'm CP.
But like,
I'm CP.
And I'm CP.
Anyway, so the reason that sparked all of this is I was looking into like silly bills that could be presented to Congress. Like, yeah. I'm sure people have proposed a lot of crazy stuff.
Oh, because
Congress.
You were looking at one?
Yes.
Okay.
So there are 2 places that a similar bill has been passed. There was one in Texas, by a Senator Gertis or something like that. The Furries Act, which...
it was passed?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was introduced by, I think it was a Senator Gertis in Austin, Texas. But a similar thing popped up in Indiana. And the one in Indiana is what I'm going to speak on.
Okay.
So Indiana State Senator Jeff Ratz, R-A-A-T-Z.
He has a problem with big cats right now.
Jeff Ratz has a problem with he's scared.
He's scared of them. He can't leave his house without, possibly getting the thought of one of them.
Yeah. So State Senator Jeff Ratz wants to make sure there's no disruptive behavior by, quote, furries in schools. Quote, we were not aware of any students dressing as furries or animals during the school day in the MSD of Wayne Township, said Jeff Butts, the district superintendent.
All right.
So can you see a pattern why...
This was where?
Indiana. Do you see why I picked the Indiana one and not the Texas one? Because the Indiana one is funny
crap
names.
Together. What you could legally change your last name. You can. It's something you can do. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about it or do it.
And it's spelled Butts. Butts. There's
Rat
also
butts.
a Jake Butt. I can't remember what team he plays for, but he's a tight end for football. His name is Jake Butt,
crazy.
and he's a tight end. The irony is not lost on me.
That is so funny.
Yeah. So basically, with the Furries Act, and what this state senator was talking about is basically there was this rumor going around that they were being, quote, accommodated by having litter boxes in classrooms. Like, that's an actual thing that people were passing around, not just in Texas, I guess. It's also in Indiana. That furries were being accommodated by having litter boxes to relieve themselves in classrooms. And then on top of that, specifically with the Furries Act, they basically, in the bill, because I read through it, they won't allow, like, you to wear tails. They don't want you to wear ears. They said leashes, collars, anything like that is included in this bill. But also certain behaviors. So you can't make any noise, regarded as non-human is what it said in the bill. Yeah, and then, like, you cannot lick yourself for, quote, the purpose of grooming. And in this hearing, the guy on the board was like, what if some kid eats Cheetos and licks the dust off his fingers? He's like, does that count? He's like, no.
So where's the line? Where's the line?
Yeah, he's like, so is there any space in your bill for false accusations? And then the man opens his notes and he goes,
he takes
no.
a look like he's actually looking
like
for an answer.
Like he's looking for it. And
he's like,
no. Yeah, he does not have an answer.
Crazy,
back
dude.
to Indiana. Emily Pace Abbott, Hamilton's Southeastern spokesperson, quote, this overall issue, I believe, stemmed from national media, which also spread that schools had litter boxes in their restrooms. This is not true for Hamilton's Southeastern schools and is worrisome that people believe such. Here comes my best quote, my favorite one. Kim Patterson, a middle school teacher in rural Howard County, said there are no furries in school here either. Patterson is an Indiana State Teachers Association board member. Quote, only furry kids I see are high school boys who don't shave, Patterson said.
Dang.
So,
Get dunked on.
Yeah, I would encourage people to look up the Furries Act in Texas and
I
read
would,
through that bill. It's
say
quite strange.
I remember in middle school, I don't know what sparked it. I think I might have come home. Mind you, I'm running all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing tag with my friends. I'm playing soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Come home, I'm like sweaty. I'm gross.
Dirty.
My dad like talks to me. He's like, "Do you want to be the stinky kid at school?" I was like, "No."
He's like, "Bitch, you gotta take a shower.
That
you
stuck
gotta take
with
it
me
now."
And I will say,
do you want to be the stinky kid at
Do
school?
you want to be the stinky kid at school?
Damn.
I mean, hey,
he was right.
He was right.
He was right.
You don't want to be the stinky kid at school. Like, take a shower, make sure you have deodorant on.
Yeah.
Like, just make sure you don't stink. It's not hard.
Yeah. Did you ever have kids at your school that dressed up like that, or even remotely alluded?
Like as a furry,
or like I would say more subtly, because obviously no one's showing up at first.
No,
but at any point, anybody allude to you that they were.
I don't think it was as big as it was when I was going to school. I don't think like.
I don't think I really learned about furries until maybe
high school,
late high school.
Yeah, I don't think I. Like, possibly...
I definitely didn't grasp
like,
it.
end of 8th grade, I might have heard, like, stuff about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't really hit me until, like, high school, I would say. And I don't even think, like... I mean, like, I went to an elementary/middle school out in the country. And so we had girls who would act like they're horses. I feel like that's pretty normal.
Or I would say for where you went to school, that feels more normal.
Yeah.
I went to more school in a more like suburban area, so
probably not as normal.
No, I mean we still had horse girls. Like I was friends with one, but she had kind of gone past that phase, so she just kind of talked about it.
Like I had known two girls, they were best friends, and that was like their thing. They would run around like they were a horse.
Yeah.
Or they were on a horse, and they would write diaries or they would write books about being horses. And I was like, hey, if that's your thing, like,
go off, queen.
Go off. Like, cool. But I don't think it was like anything like furry like. Like they weren't
Yeah.
showing up with like horse tails.
So I ask. Oh, your mom is texting me. I ask because I had Oh, okay, that's fine. I was a senior. I think a junior or senior, and I can't remember what the occasion was, but we had like a dress up day. Like it was in high school.
You had someone show up?
So it was this one particular kid. I was in history, and he walked into the class, and he had a head, like the furry head,
Yeah.
and a tail. And he walked into class.
That's crazy.
So that was kind of the first time, like,
Listen,
after knowing
if-
what a furry was,
That's
seeing
what I'm
someone
saying,
get
like,
close to dressing up as
if
one.
that's your thing, sure.
Go off. I literally don't care.
I could care less. You're off doing your own thing.
Yeah.
But that's, I don't know. That's like,
my only thing is being like, okay, I don't care, but there are people who do and will make fun of you.
yeah,
And that's my only thing.
you're kind of putting a target on
Yeah.
on your back
I
already.
mean, nobody, at least in the class that I had saw him, I only had this one class with him. Nobody had said anything about, like, to him. Like, nobody made fun of him or said anything
Yeah.
like that. It was just like, we're in class, like, whatever.
That's good.
But yeah, like, obviously he had to take off the head when we were in class.
Teacher was probably like, "Hey, it's kind of distracting."
Or I think he did it without being told, because I'm
Oh.
assuming someone had already told him. This was
Yeah.
like third, fourth period, so I'm assuming somebody
Dude,
already told him.
I would hate it when like I would always wear hats in class,
Yeah,
like especially throughout high school. It would piss me the off when I'd walk in and like take your hat off, and I'm like,
it's considered disrespectful,
I know, but it's just like I've been wearing this thing all day long.
and you're the one that said something, kind of thing, or
What was that?
you're not here, are you?
No, I'm not.
You're
I'm
not
so,
here.
I'm sorry.
You're looking
No.
at me like you're listening, but you're like, what?
Huh? No, it's like we're like in last period. I've been wearing this thing all day long. I have hat hair,
Mm-hmm.
and you want me to take it off?
I wore a beanie to class once, and someone told me, like, same thing.
Like
but I was
take
like,
it off?
yeah, but I was like, a beanie is a little different, isn't it?
I have no. That's what I'm saying.
I gotta
don't
position
know.
that beanie because of my head shape, man. I don't want to redo it.
It's not like we're sitting down for dinner.
Yeah, but it's considered disrespectful, and then they just make it in the dress code of like every school ever, and I don't understand why.
So dumb. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
Like I could wear it outside of the classroom, but you won't let me
Yeah,
wear
it's
it
inside.
inside.
Because it's, again, considered
I'm
disrespectful.
not wearing sunglasses, am I?
It's the same reason my grandma tells you to take your hat off when you go to her house.
I don't do it anymore.
I know you don't even wear a hat to her house because she told you to take it off that one time.
Well, that was the one time. After that,
Exactly.
I would wear my hat.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, that's the only
I
reason
did it
why.
the one time because that was my first time meeting her.
Yeah, and she immediately was like, take your hat off.
I was like, fine. You got me, Grandma.
Yeah, but that's the only, I mean, I had kids in high school who were like kind of cringe, but it's like, who wasn't?
Yeah,
Like,
I
obviously
mean,
you have
all
your
throughout high
anime
school,
kids
yeah.
and, people like that. Like,
I actually had a friend who.
oh, and I was friends with theater people, so I had my own douse of that. But
I had a friend who, even throughout middle school and a little bit of high school too, he had
Mhm.
moved away during high school though. His thing through middle school was, for a period of time, was like Michael Jackson.
huh.
Like he had a glove. he would play Michael Jackson.
Shut up,
and go,
he had the glove?
He had the glove. He'd go around and he would like play the music.
Okay.
And there would be
On his
times
JBL?
on his like iPod, and he had like
Oh,
Michael
no.
Jackson shirts, and he would like do the dances too.
Would he like stop in the hallway, grab his crotch, and do the hip cresting? Like,
Hee hee.
Would he
Yeah,
do that?
kinda. I mean, he'd do the because it's going up on your toes,
Yeah.
so he would do that. But yeah, no, I was
Man
like
had
his
a
thing.
passion.
And I was like, hey, dude, you go for it, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing too. Like, obviously when I was in high school, I'm like, God, that's so embarrassing. But now that I'm like, can do whatever you want. I don't
Even
care.
in high school,
I never
think-
said anything.
I think in high school, it more pissed me off when people did say stuff about it.
Yeah, I was always just like, why?
Like, dude,
I
leave
never
them
said
alone.
anything. In my head, I'm like, damn, that's embarrassing. I would never do that, but I'm not going to say anything. Because why the would I?
Just leave them alone. They're like, I had a guy in high school.
Because I'm not a bully. That's why.
Yeah, mind you, there's gonna be some people that I say this and they might know who I'm talking about, but this dude was like twice my size. Not like oversized, just like
tall.
He'd beat the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Type of oversize.
Beefy.
And his thing was, he was like, for a period of time, he was like a greaser.
Huh.
So like he'd show up with like a
Please tell me he had a retractable comb.
100%.
Yes, dude.
He did.
If you're gonna commit,
he'd slick his hair back. Sometimes
dude.
he'd let his hair flow because he had pretty good hair.
Yeah.
But most of the time he'd wear like wife beaters.
Oh my god.
And he'd have like a leather jacket over.
Yes,
dude. Like, and it's not like he was a good looking guy too.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, own that shit.
And that aesthetic is objectively cool.
And on top of
if
that,
you're gonna do it, you can do it.
And on top of that, dude, he was. I'm not saying he was ripped, but like he
was beefy.
He was beefy.
Yeah.
So I was just like, slated.
Yeah. Like, again, if you're gonna do it, do it. I don't care. My motto has always been, I literally do not care what you do, as long as you are not harming other people. I could care less.
Yeah.
If you're not bothering me or somebody else, I do not care.
You just live your
don't.
life. If
I don't have enough hours in the day to give a shit about what you do.
If that's what you're passionate about and that's what you love, do it.
If you want to gallop like a horse in the fucking Winko aisle, in the freezer aisle, I don't care.
As long as you're not knocking into people and knocking shit over, go for it.
As long as I can get my pint of ice cream and you get what you need to do, I don't care.
But my thing is like, that's who that person is.
Yeah.
And for someone to like make fun of that, for them just being themselves, like, it sucks.
I could think of a million other better things to make fun of someone for.
Yeah.
Saying they're an alpha male. Hey, that sounds like a furry thing.
That's weird.
Hey, is that like a furry thing? If you're calling yourself an alpha, like, is that like a furry thing?
I have no clue.
It was a joke. That's what you should say to people if they say that to you. Yeah, I think there's no point.
There's no point.
There's no point. Because honestly, like,
I will say,
I've never... Yeah, go ahead.
Bowling was okay in some points.
There was a thing on, like, especially on Twitter, people were like, bring back bullying. And that's, I guess in some instances,
it makes
I would get it.
In some instances, it's funny to go from this to this, but it's just like...
Bring back shame.
Not even just that. It's just like, it hardens you. You're not so soft all the time. It allows you to know, like, okay, I know how to act in certain situations when this is happening. And it just makes you a tougher person. And
I guess.
It makes you, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think everybody should have their moment where they get made fun of at least once. I'm not saying it's good, but
I'm not
it's
saying
very...
beat the fuck out of someone.
It's very character building.
It is. It's quite literally Spider-Man.
It is. Okay. It's not literally Spider-Man. You don't get to have superpowers afterwards.
Guys, you can have superpowers if you get bullied.
If you get bullied. That's not true. That's not true.
Listen, if you want to talk to someone professional, go listen to
my
my
Therapy Hat
podcast and listen to someone who has a degree. I'm working on my degree, but until then...
We're not there yet.
Until then, Spider-Man, that happens.
Bullying makes you Spider-Man.
Bullying makes you Spider-Man.
Getting bullied makes you Spider-Man. I mean, like, I feel like, again, there are specific things I feel it is okay to make fun of somebody. And I would say it's when they're making fun of somebody else. Like, if they're dogging on someone else, I'm going to dog on you because you're a bitch, ABC, like, your hairline is this, or you know, your feet look weird. Like, whatever. Like, if you're dogging on someone else, I see that as free reign.
It's funny because looking back at, like, I went to pre-first, okay? I went to kindergarten first grade.
Yes, we all heard the story of how you got held back.
Yes, and so in pre-first... I wore, like, I had spiked short hair. I had, like, Power Ranger shirts on.
Okay,
and,
but you were in pre-kindergarten.
Yeah, I'm getting there, though.
Okay.
I always, like, looking back at those pictures, I was just like, gosh, dude, that little guy's just living his life. He didn't even care about a single thing.
He was so happy.
What
happened?
I had one of my... Hey, I'm still happy.
I know, I'm kidding.
I had one of my best friends who worked at me worked with me at Baskin Robbins tell me, she was just like, yeah, dude, you had all the chicks back then.
Which is so funny.
And I was just like, this little guy had all the chicks, and she was just like,
shoes.
she was like, dude, you were it. And I was like, that's crazy.
That's so funny.
Me, little scrawny ass kid running around. I was like, that's so crazy.
Scrawny is in. Girls like scrawny.
Spiked hair.
I don't know about spiked hair, but it's for the time. It was early 2000s.
Yeah.
It was for the time.
I thought that was just so funny to me.
Funny.
So,
yeah, who knew that, you know?
Who knew if you could be yourself, you can attract people that, you know, think like you in some ways. Who would have thunk?
The moral of the story is do what you want, and if somebody makes fun of you, you can call them ugly.
And then you'll become Spider-Man.
You get to be Spider-Man.
One of my topics I wanted to talk about, mainly the main topic, was just childhood stuff.
Is it Bingers?
It is Bingers.
Is it Mr. Bingers? Hi, Bingies.
Hi, Bingus. We got Tobos
He's here.
and Bingus.
The boys are here. Childhood?
Bingus.
Tatsu fell.
Just like, because when we were talking to my mom
Mm-hmm.
about one of the topics on her podcast, so many memories were flooding back to me when she was like talking to us about our childhood.
Yeah. Well, about your childhood. I wasn't there.
What?
Shockingly, I've only known you for 2 years.
You were always there in spirit.
In spirit. You just, yeah.
And I just didn't know of you. That's all.
Strangers are friends you haven't met yet.
Your friends. And yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to, like, is there any childhood memories that kind of like poke out to you right now about anything?
No, I mean, when we talked on your mom's podcast, we were talking about kids swearing, like letting kids swear or like listen to.
I do have a story about that.
Okay.
That I didn't say it on her podcast. I alluded to it, but I didn't say it.
Go ahead. I don't have anything. I was just going to talk about how my dad thought it was funny.
I had asked her when she had brought it up to me about the topic, because I had seen her a few days beforehand.
Right.
And she was alluding that that's something she wanted to talk about. I had asked her, I was like, do you remember the time I didn't have a headset yet, and I was playing a Battlefield. I was playing a Battlefield game.
Uh-huh.
And I had my speaker up, and she was in the in an area that was next to mine and my sister's room, where she had her little office. And I had my door open, and all you can hear from it was like just, I mean, it's war.
Battlefield.
It's Battlefield. It's war. So it's Marines cussing at each other and all this other stuff. And my mom gets up from her desk, and she's like, "What are you playing?" And I was just like, "I'm playing Battlefield." What? She's like, "You need to turn that off or turn it down. There's too much cussing."
That doesn't sound like your mom, though. That's so crazy.
She was pissed off. She was trying to do her work.
Oh, I see why.
And so, like, I was irritating her with it.
Got
and so
it.
I was just like,
I'm like, that doesn't sound like your mom. Like, normally it doesn't sound like your mom would give a shit. But if she was studying.
No, she was studying. She was doing homework or something. And I was just pissing her off. And I was like, okay, gosh, Mom. Like,
Sorry, Mom.
Jeez. I was like, upset because I was like, Mom, it's war. Like, what do you want me to do, Mom?
She's like, turn it down. That's what I want you to do.
So I just thought that was kind of funny that like stuck out to me.
No, like as I mentioned on the podcast, like I would always push the boundaries because like not around my parents, but while I was at school, like I cussed all the time because obviously I went to public school.
Yeah.
So
public school was crazy, dude.
Dog, at my high school, I heard some things and saw some things that people would do. Specifically, all right, we caught some people in the hallway. All right.
What?
Yeah, one time.
That's crazy.
So,
this is in what grade?
I found out about it when I was a junior. So,
that's crazy.
It was caught on video. So somebody recorded this couple. Like, I was about to go into detail on what the video was, but basically it's what you expected, what you saw. The craziest part is that I went to an outdoor high school, so I'm like, why did you think that was smart to do? But no, somebody filmed it. And then I sat next to a kid who got the video somehow and was like, hey, you want to see this? I'm like, no. And then showed it to me.
That's
so
funny.
That was crazy and also illegal. I don't know why he had that and thought it was funny to show it to me.
Do you want to see this?
But yeah, that's just one thing of many. We also had a gang fight at my high school.
We had a few, not at mine, but like we'd go to football games.
Yeah.
And that's where a majority of them.
Yeah. So
were
while I was in high school, in my 4 years that I went there, I would say the first 3 years we had a bomb threat every single year, and we had 2 threats of shooting up the school.
We only have 1 threat of shooting.
We had 2, I think, my first 2 years of high school, and then my first 3 we had a bomb threat every year.
There was
it was insane. Oh, and then hold on real quick.
Oh,
the gang fight. So that happened my freshman year, and again, I went to an outdoor school, so everybody, and I'm saying like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids were gathered in the quad, circled around, watching this gang fight. And so I'm about to turn the corner into the quad to see it, and I'm almost run over by an administrator in a golf cart trying to defuse the situation. But in trying to get to the situation to defuse it, almost ran me over. I remember that.
You were just collateral
friend,
damage.
My friend who I was walking with had to pull me out of the way before I got fucking ran over.
You were just collateral damage at that point.
I
They didn't
guess.
care. They were trying to get to the situation.
I know.
You were
Anyway.
in the way, Sarah.
Sure. Go ahead.
8th grade. No, 7th grade. No. 6th or 7th grade. There was a kid in my grade who was caught for selling weed.
Okay.
And
That's
then,
fun. That's exciting.
That's cool. He got expelled. Didn't see him again.
Yeah, because he sold drugs on a school campus.
Yeah.
Obviously
crazy.
he did.
How did he get a hold of that?
Any number of reasons.
Probably his older brother.
Yeah.
And then someone in that group,
Excuse me?
actually, 8th grade year, I had a friend in my group who started to go down a little bit darker path than a lot of us.
Uh-huh.
And eventually, don't know why, brought a knife to school.
Mm-hmm.
Got expelled for that.
Obviously. I would hope
the
so.
rumor going around about how and why he brought it, was because he wanted to show it to someone.
And by show it to someone, he means put it in somebody.
Don't know. And I remember having a talk with my mom, and she was just like, because I used to be like...
Gently introduce it to somebody's midsection.
Yeah. Gently, hello. No, but I remember she sat me down and like talked to me about it, because he wasn't just like a friend in the group. Like, he was one of my close friends. But
Yeah.
like, it was over a long period of time where I started distancing myself from him.
Yeah.
Because I kind of had seen some behaviors that I didn't really like.
Yeah.
One of them being he used to like get really aggressive with some of my friends, like when we would all play.
Yeah, that sounds like he started doing some brujas.
Possibly, or maybe he was just having problems at home or something.
That too.
But it started becoming a thing, and I was like, okay, maybe I should start distancing myself. And then
Right.
when my mom had a talk with me about it, I was like, I don't know if you know, but I have not talked to him in like a year.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, okay, well, that's good to know. I was like, yeah, I didn't even know this happened until like a week after it happened. And she
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay. So it was just like stuff like that kind of happened. Nothing too crazy.
And that's crazy too, is you found out about that. That doesn't mean that there are hundreds of kids that went to your school that didn't already have that on them. I learned after graduating, moving on or whatever, people that I knew, obviously we'll leave it at that, you know, just new people, or they themselves just had like a knife or a gun and brought it to school.
Like, that's crazy.
And just carried it around and then went home like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like, finding that out, I was like, dude, I didn't even consider the fact that just because they weren't caught with it, they didn't have it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, in high school, I was such a Mary Sue. Like, I was such a goody-goody that, you know, I didn't even think about any of that. I'm like, oh, duh.
I remember when I smelled
Obviously.
weed for the first time
Oh.
in high school. I walked into the hallway and I was like,
Ugh.
it smells like skunk in here. And someone walked by me and they're like, that's not skunk. And I was just like, and one of my friends was like, welcome to high school. And that was like my first week in high school. And I was just like, this is a whole new world.
The first time, like, I fully smelt it was I was a sophomore, and this kid sitting at my table, he stunk. Like, he reeked. Like, he was like, there was no even remote effort to cover it up.
He's just sitting there lofting
Yeah,
in
and
his
I'm
own
like-
smell.
And I'm sitting here like, damn, bitch, I'm trying to do geometry. Fuck. Yeah.
He's like in a third dimension.
Yeah, and like obviously you could tell. Yeah, he's blasted out of his mind. But like
Geometry? I thought we were in biology.
yeah, it's like so stupid. And looking back on it, like I remember telling that to my mom. I was like, yeah, this kid like stunk in geometry. Like he smelled like weed. She goes, what kind of smell was it? And I don't remember how I described it. She goes, oh, it doesn't sound like the good stuff. She's like, good weed smells like sweeter than that. I was like,
And you're
Mom.
like, dang, all right, okay.
I was like, I was there. Either it was my mom or somebody. I think it was my mom. I was like,
that's
Mom.
so funny. She's like, yeah, that's not that good.
Not that good.
It's not that
It's
good.
from the. Never mind. Look, Dad, it's the good Kush. It's from the dollar store. How good could it be?
No, I just thought it was funny because us sitting there talking about cussing in our childhood.
Yeah.
It brought up a few memories of me playing video games with my friends and us having the LAN parties and me like coming home, not doing any homework and telling my mom, yeah, I did homework. And then like the last day that it's due, I was like rushing to get that shit done.
Obviously.
Because I was just like playing that was my fucking life. So it was crazy.
I grew up in a more religious family than you did, so swearing and doing things like that didn't really happen.
Yeah.
So, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would push the boundaries, and I didn't start pushing those boundaries until I was maybe like 14.
Yeah.
Or I would say crap, and I was like, sick. Awesome.
I said freaking crap.
I did, and I told that to my dad, and I remember him howling about it.
Me playing Black Ops 2, me and my friends, we just killed another team. We're like, we're in ranked play.
You're editing this episode. You're gonna see how much fun that is.
Yeah. No, we're playing ranked play, and we just killed someone, and we're like, gosh, you guys suck, and we're just cussing them out and all this other stuff. And then they leave the lobby, and we're just sitting there. We're like, good job, guys.
We did good. We did good.
Yeah. No, it was a weird time. That's all I really had to talk about today because I did not do much.
That's okay. I mean, we talked about furries for longer than I thought, so.
That is true. We can talk about furries. What's going on in our lives right now?
Dude, we're like busy, but at the same time, I could not tell you what I'm doing. That is.
I have a photography gig coming up tomorrow.
Congrats.
I know I'm getting busier in photography. It's weird. It's like 2 or 3 months out of the year I'm busy in photography, and then I'm not.
It's wedding season.
I did have one of my friends hit me up for another engagement plus a possible wedding in the future.
Wow.
So
that's money, baby.
I know. I'm so excited.
That's money, baby.
That's money, baby. I will say something about weddings, though, especially photographers. When we went to, I don't know if it's just me as a photographer. Like I bust running around getting different angles and stuff.
I don't even remember seeing the photographer at your stepsister's wedding. Now that I think about it, disappeared.
It was a couple.
Yeah, it was a videographer and a specific
to be
photographer.
fair, she was pregnant.
She was pregnant. He wasn't.
But at
Where
the
did
same
he go?
time, like they're sitting there at the altar whenever they start walking down, and I'm like, are they not moving to get pictures? Or no, they eventually moved to get pictures of them walking down the altar.
They didn't move around very much.
They didn't move around much.
And like I said, they disappeared at one point.
And there was that one point where my stepsister and her husband were gone, and we're sitting there, and I was like, usually this is like prime time to get pictures because everyone's waiting, no one's doing much, and then the photographer, you had even mentioned they're not with them. I'm like, no, they're right here.
Yeah. They were just sitting
at
the table.
They're just waiting for them to come. And I was just like, this is so weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, for me, I'm busting my... Like, even
People
this
want pictures of every minute minute that happens at their wedding. And you're sitting there. Like, I get breaks to eat, but it seemed like they were taking a break the entire time.
Yeah, I don't know. I know, like, this last wedding I took, the wedding organizer had apologized to me. She's like, usually I give a heads up whenever they're gonna come do this one certain thing, but I forgot to give it to you, and I saw you running over to it to get the pictures. I was like, oh, don't worry. I was like, I do events where I get in a routine of going back and forth to certain positions because angles. But I don't know. There's been some times where I don't know if it's just I'm trying too hard, but there's been people that I take pictures with and they're like, click.
Yeah, and it's like, click. With you, like when you have clients like that, they're like, oh, I want this many pictures. And I'm like, well, if you just do that, you're not going to have enough of anything to give them.
I have no clue.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, photography is one of those things that it's hard to criticize because everyone has their own way of doing things and everyone has their own style, which is completely fine. And it's difficult because everyone's doing something different.
Yeah.
So like
Casey's brother at their wedding was in everybody's business.
Heck yeah.
He was all over the place.
That's what I'm saying.
Brother had 3 cameras strapped to him at all times.
He had 2 film cameras, his digital camera, and then during the speeches he put all those 3 away and had his cinematic camera.
Like a video camera specifically for videography.
Yeah.
He was all up everybody's business.
You weren't there for that, but we had a bonfire right after the reception, the rehearsal.
The rehearsal.
And I had asked him about his cameras. That's when I saw them, and the film or the cinematic camera is the church's.
Oh,
he just uses it for personal stuff and for social media there.
Fair enough. But
I was like, oh, that makes sense. But yeah, even still, I'm like, damn, that's so cool to have though. Like, have access to that.
Yeah.
That's so dope. No, there are some photographers who, and I hope to get there one day to where they have like 3 cameras like he did.
Yeah, he had like a whole rig on his back. He had like a vest or like a harness or something.
I will be getting a harness in the future, but I do need to purchase my second camera first though before anything. And like that's what I'm saying. Like weddings is no joke. People and right now I'm only doing it by myself, so it's even harder because I can't get all the angles of every minute. But it's just like It's interesting for sure. I never thought that I'd be so into the thick of it for weddings.
Yeah.
Like I remember telling family members and stuff, I was like, I'm never doing weddings. And they're
I remember you telling me that around the time we first seen. Like, yeah, I'm a photographer. Like, I want to do it professionally one day, but I'll never do weddings.
Yeah.
Here you are, like 4 weddings deep.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, dude, it's grueling, but it's like it's
That's
also
where the money is,
it's
too.
also satisfying at the same time.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be this satisfying. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is like I've had 3 weddings now that I've taken pictures of, and 2 of them have been just amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that, really.
That's fair. We're gonna do a little we're still almost at an hour. We still gotta get enough
I can
stuff.
talk for 3 minutes. So
About what?
my next purchase for something would be a MacBook for editing.
This is great content. Thank you.
I want to get another mic for the podcast.
Mike is just telling us about his day at this point. Dio die away.
I was looking at MacBooks at work.
Okay.
That's all I have to say
Cool.
about that.
Thank you. Maybe we should just. Hey guys, thank you for listening. I'm sorry you had to dredge through this last
I was
couple
giving my
minutes.
business card to someone at work today, and I was telling them I took air balloon pictures, and they're like, "That's cool." I didn't even show them the air balloon pictures. I just gave it to them. My business card.
You know what we should be talking about is the fact that we had an AC guy come in the other day, and
Oh
you were
my
like,
God!
and you were like, I think I should ask him if he plays Magic the Gathering.
Anyways, guys, that's been a great episode.
No, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. We had a guy come in. Okay. All right. My turn.
Damn it!
My turn. Our landlord was like, hey, I'm going to send out some AC guys to come check them on your AC because we want to make sure everything's good to go before it gets too hot. 2 guys come in, look at the AC. They leave. When they leave, the AC stops working. We have to call in another guy. He comes in.
Lance,
our boy Lance. He comes in while I'm home, and he just goes, hey, so I have to come back. I have to order a part or whatever, or I have to do some more work. I'll be back. He comes back the next following Monday, which was
Tuesday. He came back Tuesday.
Which was 2 days ago at this point. He stays for another 4 hours. So Micah gets home and he takes over like making sure that everything's fine so I can go change or whatever. Then Lance takes care of everything. He fixes our AC after like 4.5 hours. Like he was here forever.
He's coming down. What's going on is he's coming down the ladder. And I'm helping him because there has to be 2 people with how high our condo is. There has to be 2 people to operate the ladder. He's coming down the ladder, and he's telling me, he's like, all right, man, I think everything is good. I'm going to do one more check on the thermostat. He goes, checks the thermostat. It's fine. He comes back out. He starts putting his ladder over the fence because I don't know where our key is to the fence. I lost it. And I'm sitting there, and I'm watching him put it over the fence, and I'm like, he kind of looks like Mark. It's like
his Magic the Gathering buddy, Mark.
I was like, I wonder if he plays Magic.
Mind you, Lance looks like he's like maybe late 30s,
And-
mid to late
And I'm
30s.
sitting there thinking of that. It crossed my mind, and I just remember smiling or like laughing at myself because I was just like, that is so stupid. He doesn't play Magic.
I should ask him if he plays Magic the Gathering.
I was like, what the am I thinking?
That's a sign you need to take a break.
I am taking a break. I haven't played in God knows how long.
I know, but it's in your mind. Like, maybe I should ask our AC guy. And we were playing with the idea of like, what if you had asked him? He's like, no, I don't know what that is. And you're
"All right,
just
get
like,
out of here."
get out of my house.
I'm like,
Get out of my
"Oh,
house.
this wind is picking up.
It sure is windy. It'd be a shame if this ladder fell over while you were on it. You don't play Magic, you say?
You don't play Magic? That sucks.
It'd be a shame if you fell off this fucking roof right now, wouldn't it?
What are you even doing here? Did you even fix our AC?
Yeah, that's what we should edit it with.
That's a good end. Not me talking about what I want to purchase next.
My God. He's like,
What?
I just want to talk about my day. It's like, today, I looked at Amazon and I looked at Billy today at class, and I was like, oh, he's cute. I wonder if he has experience from me. What, you can have your moment, I can have mine. Thank you for listening to today's episode, this week's episode.
7 stages of grief.
Yeah, you're going through a lot of them right now.
If you want to learn about that, go to myhattherapy.com. It's I messed it up. It's my therapy.
I
hat.
know you messed it up.
Um,
I know.
I'm a little tired, guys. Do you guys play Magic the Gathering?
I also want you guys to know, when we initially started this podcast, we were like, we are going to record every Sunday so that we have time to edit so that we can put these out on Friday. For the past like month, maybe 2,
We have not been able to do that.
we have been recording Thursday, which means we have to...
Wednesday?
Okay, we've been recording every Wednesday or Thursday, and right now we're recording on Thursday, which means we are recording this in one go and then editing it and uploading it immediately after.
Hey,
we
guys.
are so f***ed up right now.
If I miss an F word, because guess who's editing this episode?
Mike is editing because I need
If
a
I
break.
miss an F word or miss something,
Don't say anything. I will cry,
I got you guys.
and I will probably know who you are, and
You're
I
welcome.
will make fun of you.
You're
See?
welcome.
That's another thing. That's what I'm saying. You make fun of me, it's free game. You putting yourself on the chopping block as well.
Thank you for listening to
You got a
I'm
receding
Poop
hairline and your
Podcast.
feet too big for your damn legs.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I have not posted on our Instagram
No!
in months at this point. We love you.
We're cooked. Clap.
We're doing great, guys. We're doing great. This is Frankenstein's favorite podcast. He told me himself.
Frankenstein? Is that what you just said?
Have a good day, guys.
Michael, what the f*** what did you say?